So hi, and welcome to this episode of Health WISE-360, a creation of Clarissa Burt, founder of In the Limelight Media. I'm your show host, Chrissy Cordingley, and you'll be able to see this interview on In the Limelight TV, which is distributed on Roku, Amazon Fire, Apple TV, and 100 other smart TV apps. The audio version of this interview can be heard wherever you listen to your podcasts. And today I'm really excited to be interviewing Brad Ritter, who's one of the world's leading experts on performance. He is the author of the best-selling book, School of Grit, Unlock Your Potential Through Purposeful Adversity. After graduating from Kokoro camp in 2015, he wanted to find a way to serve others, help people take control of their lives, and get unstuck. He accomplished this through a proven system that focuses on your physical, mental, emotional, intuitional, and warrior spirit. His mission is to build a warrior class community, and that is why he created the School of Grit. Welcome, Brad. So excited to have you on.
Hey, Chrissy, thanks for having me. Really looking forward to this.
Yeah, I'm super excited. And I love your book. So I do have a copy, which you know, and it is an excellent book. So let's start from the beginning. Let's talk about the camp. So what made you decide to attend this camp, and maybe just enlighten people on what Kokoro camp actually is?
Yeah, so Kokoro camp is modeled after Navy SEAL training. Full disclosure, I don't want to be a Navy SEAL. I didn't want to be a Navy SEAL, but I realized, wow, they put themselves through some very strenuous stuff and considered very mentally tough, physically fit, emotionally resilient. And I thought, man, I want a piece of that. Could I, if I could just learn a little bit. So I went to YouTube in the interwebs and found this place called Kokoro Camp, which is put on by a former Navy SEAL named Mark Devine.
Yep.
I think he was in for about 20 years. And it's modeled after Hell Week, which, if you know anything about SEAL training, Hell Week is usually in first phase, and it's about a week long, hardly any sleep. They do feed you, but it's just constant movement. And, I thought about that. I'm like, how could someone stay up for almost a week and doing just the craziness that the instructors are putting them through? So this camp is modeled after, like I said, but it's 50 hours. So still very tough, but it's not the full week. It starts on a Friday, ends on a Sunday, and zero sleep pushed me to the brink, physically, mentally, emotionally. And I was doing my research, and you're probably thinking, like, why would you want to do something like that was the question. And I'm 43 now, but I was in my early 30s when I first saw that video. And you know what? I came to the realization, Chrissy, that and maybe some of your listeners or viewers might agree with this, like, life had just gotten kind of soft, and I was too comfortable. I mean, really, that's what it was. Too comfortable. I like a little bit of comfort, but there's a saying that comfort can also be a slow death. And I wasn't really growing professionally, let's say, and I was just kind of stuck. Felt like I was in a washing machine, so to speak, just continuing to run that cycle. And I just needed something to snap me out. And I thought, well, maybe I'll go run a marathon or, do something like that. But I wanted something that would change, like, the whole person. I wanted a complete transformation. And man, that's exactly what I got. So that's why I went there, though, was just I did a stock realization of where I was at, and it made sense. I am so fortunate because a lot of people I talk to and I get to meet, they have these incredible backgrounds, have probably gone through just loads of adversity, trauma. I didn't have any of that crap. I had a great childhood.
Yeah.
Parents still married. Oldest of four. We're all super tight. Like, family was a very, very strong rock for me, fortunately. So I had that, and I didn't have to, battle disease, cancer. Never had to get deployed. So I consider myself very lucky in that fact. But character is forged through adversity, and I just knew, like, up until that point, I hadn't pushed myself. I didn't know what I was capable of. I was playing small ball, and I wanted to go big or go home, right?
Absolutely. So what are some of the, like, obviously it would have been physically challenging, but you sort of touched on emotional. What were some of the surprising benefits of going through that process once you came back to home and your real life? What were some of the things that were maybe weren't going to be what you expected out of your transformation, but you're super happy that they did?
Oh gosh, just when you go to a place or you have an event that literally, like, takes everything away from you, You come back and you're very, you're more patient for sure. So
Mhm.
I noticed an increased patience with my wife and also my kids. 'Cause I had 2 little ones, and I was the type of
Aw.
dad that at that point, you know, it was if someone spilled milk, you know, chances are I'd have a knee jerk reaction. Well, gosh, it's not like they tried to spill the milk, you know? So yeah, it gave me increased patience. I learned some mental toughness tactics out there too that I still employ to this day. I mean, I'll share one of
Mhm.
them right now. It was
Yeah.
uh, we uh, we were getting ready to form up, and we knew the event was going to start, and we had in walked in a guy who I believe he was on SEAL Team 6, and he said, you know, you will be successful this weekend if you can do these 3 things and these 3 things only. And I'm like, oh, this is great. This is why I'm here, man. I'm gonna learn the secret to life right here, you know. And he said, first, I want you to breathe. I want you to breathe, and then I want you to think, and then I want you to execute. He's like, if you can breathe, you can think, you can execute. It's like you'll have no problem getting through this weekend. We're not going to tell you to do something that hasn't been done before.
Mhm.
Where you're going to get yourself into trouble is if you stop breathing or you're not thinking correctly. You're not thinking. You're reacting instead of responding, like with that child analogy I used earlier. So I use that every day. Every day I'm faced with something strenuous, or you know, I'm on a call that's, you know, with a client, let's say, that's maybe getting heated, or you know, whatever it could be. I just remember, like, I always check in with myself. Hey, where's my breath right now? Where's my breath?
Yeah.
Chances are I'm probably holding it. Most of us hold our breath, so that's an easy one that you can employ right now. Just check in with your breath. It's going to help regulate yourself. It's going to give you that momentary, even if it's just a quick second, just to think, because our brains are so fast. We can usually think of a better answer than if we just go with like the knee jerk, boom, and then it's out there, right?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, if we don't breathe and think, it's like the lizard part of our brain, right? Like our primal piece just responds with whatever. But if you breathe, then it activates a different part of your brain where there's actual critical thinking and thought, and then you're being more purposeful in your response, which is amazing. So so now you've created the school of grit. So how do you define grit and how does someone grow it? Is it simply physical? Is it a bunch of different things? Share a little bit about grit.
yeah. I think it's a bunch of different things, and you know, my definition of grit has evolved and changed over the years. So I first got started down this path. Kokoro Camp was a big accelerator, but what got me to go and start questioning grit was actually a book called Grit, which was written by Angela Duckworth. She's awesome and amazing. I love following her
Mhm.
stuff. And you know, her definition of grit's the power of passion of perseverance to achieve long-term goals. And I took her grit score or scale, I guess you could say. It's a quiz. I didn't score too well. And I thought, man, I'm
Well,
tough, right? I'm a score high. No, I did not. I did not score high. And I'm a competitive person. And I thought, man, why is that? And I looked at the way the questions were asked, and it was really me. I was that person that I'd start strong, but then when the next shiny object came along, or if the going got super tough, or it was taking longer than I thought, I'd move on. That's just how I had operated. And I thought, man, there's something here, and I want to grow my grit. Is that a real thing? And it absolutely is. Like, she talks about it in her book. And so my definition of grit, which has evolved over time, it's a 4-parter. So hang on here.
yeah.
So I say it's uncommon perseverance in the face of adversity, backed by a strong why to achieve a worthy goal.
Oh, I like
So
that.
let me break
Yeah,
that
do it
down.
again.
Thanks.
Yeah, do it
Yeah,
again.
so uncommon perseverance, right? That's effort. That's doing the work, right? Someone could show you the playbook, someone to teach you the secret to life, but you got to do the work. At the end of the day, you have to do it. I can't do it for you. Chrissy can't do it for you. You know, those books aren't going to do it for you. That might get you motivated, but you got to do the work.
Mhm.
So it's uncommon perseverance in the face of adversity, because I really think that's where the metal, that's where the metal hits, right? It's where the rubber meets the road. And that's when you really get tested. When it's sunny and it's like here in Indiana, it was 70 yesterday. Very easy to go work out. Today, when it's 12, not so much. I don't want to go out there. Heck no. So adversity is a key accelerator of that. I think you got to have that to really grow your grit, and then backed by a strong why. You've probably heard that lots of times. I think it's pretty common. Simon Sinek wrote a book on it. Start with why, but just anything you're doing, ask yourself why 3 to 5 times, and you'll get to the root cause of why you're really doing it. And if you can't answer it, then it's like, okay, well maybe this doesn't serve me any longer, and it's time to quit or give it up. That's not necessarily a bad thing either. And we can talk about that later if you want, because I do believe there's a difference between quitting and giving up.
Mm-hmm.
And then the last one's to achieve a worthy goal. So, it's February. A lot of us probably had, it's new year, you got new goals. Well, where are you at with those goals? Check in with them. Are you staying on that track, or have you already abandoned them? There could be reasons why that could be good, it could be bad. It just depends. But those goals need to be worthy. They need to fit you. They need to be important. They need to be timely. They need to be specific, and they need to fit your overall mission. So that's my definition for grit. I break it down into 4 parts there.
I love it. You did mention that, and actually I do want to talk about the difference between giving up and quitting, because I just learned recently that quit, the word comes from a Latin word that actually means to have peace. So like there's a difference between just giving up on something and then realizing something isn't for you, because I think sometimes in this culture we have this like bash yourself through it no matter how harmful it may be for you, and it's recognizing what is good adversity to have and what's strengthening adversity, or what's a good process take, and then when's the time to shift and pivot. So share that. I would love that.
Yeah, I think it's you explained that very well. So there's a huge difference between quitting and giving up. Quitting's great, actually. I think people need to get into a better habit of quitting and saying no to things. However, I'm not saying to give up, quit on the things that really matter, because that kind of leads to the more of the giving up piece. And I think the key ingredient there is that part in grit that I explained, and that's the why. Like what is the real why behind this? Hey, I've quit lots of crappy relationships in my life, which were good, like very much needed. I've quit some bad jobs that just didn't fit and didn't align. At the time, did I think I was making a mistake? Maybe, because I was kind of raised like, hey, you don't quit no matter what, blah, blah, blah. But wow, was it the right move? Because I wouldn't be here talking to you, doing what I'm doing today, had I not made those necessary moves and changes. And that takes a lot of courage. In fact, I think it takes a lot of grit to quit, if that makes sense.
I
But
think it really does.
yeah, but then giving up to me is, I think there's a few things maybe in your life that kind of fit this little area, let's say, or this container on giving up. These are things that matter to you so much. It's like I'd die before I'm doing it. Like, and that's different for everybody. But like for me, that's my family. Like family is core to me. So am I going to give up on my wife and kids? Hell no. I'm going to go through hell for them. Absolutely. If you are lucky enough to discover your purpose, let's say, and you're working towards that, and maybe it's not your full-time job yet, but it's something that you work on at night or in the morning, it's a passion project. Heck no, man, I'm not going to give up on that. I believe in it so much, that no way, I'm not going to give up. So it can be hard at times. I'm not saying it's easy, but that's why you got to ask yourself those questions, and if sometimes you got to get out of your own head too. So elicit the help of someone else. Just grab someone's ear and say, hey, I got to get this out of my head. What do you think? Sometimes it helps hearing, a completely different, viewpoint. Someone that doesn't know your background, they don't know you.
Yes. Yes. I think that's really good. So now you wrote this book, The School of Grit, sort of about your experience and sort of the lessons that you've learned through life. So when someone reads this book, what is the most important takeaway you hope that they walk away with?
Yeah. So I have a tagline in School of Grit, and that's do hard things. Do hard things. So I hope after reading this book that people would invite purposeful adversity into their life. And that's the subtitle. I'm not saying you want to invite training or events or things that could get yourself potentially injured or harm someone else. There's a time and a place maybe for that. But I'm talking about stuff that's going to make you grow, because how we grow as human beings is through discomfort. It is through pain. I mean, look at anything you've accomplished where you're like, yeah, I did that. I guarantee it wasn't easy. I guarantee it. I guarantee there were times you wanted to quit, give up, throw the towel in, but you didn't. That's what I'm talking about. And we need to do more of that because, and I don't know if it's just me, but I think we've gotten pretty soft as a society, just based off, I don't look at the news. I'm hardly on social media that much, but I see what goes on. You all do too. And, that's not real life for the most part.
No.
Yeah, at least I don't think it is. And
no, it's not. I was
yeah,
reading a study the other day that it's social media and some of those loud voices. It's like maybe 20% of society actually feels that way. So it's interesting. Yeah.
I think it is, very interesting. And I mean, back to like the soft part. I mean, there could be a reason for that. Technology, I think, has had a big deal with that. I mean, think about it. We just live in a world where I can order food and it'll be delivered in 30 minutes, maybe or less. I can order something from Amazon. It'll get here in a day. If I want to call someone, I got this thing. I don't have to go to a I mean, I remember pay phones and all that stuff. Computer. I remember typewriter. I learned how to type on an actual typewriter. So now I'm really showing my age, but that's what I'm talking about. It's like it's just gotten so convenient and so easy. I think it's easy to lose the joy of hard work and being like, yeah, I built that, or I did that. Or instead of riding the bus, I walked here, or I ran, I rode my bike, that type thing.
Yes, definitely. So tell me a little bit, you talk in your book and in your work about the difference between optimal and peak performance. Can you share a little bit about what the differentiators are and when you would use either one?
Yeah, so I'll use an example just from my own life. So Kokoro camp, which I went to, that was one of the pinnacle points in my life. So that was peak performance for me. I basically kind of put my life on hold and I had to be selfish, to my wife and because I had to train. I had to train my butt off because a lot of it is physical. There's minimum standards you had to go just to qualify, to even go. So I literally put my life on hold for 6 months and just trained my butt off. And people who out there who probably do triathlons know a little bit about what I'm talking about. It's like if you're not working, you're training because you got to get that training in. And when's that going to happen? Well, morning, lunch, evening. Dad's not around. Where's he at? He's training. So that was a peak performance time. But what happens every time you're at peak? There's a valley every single time. So think about, the last race you completed that meant something. Think about the last big goal you accomplished that meant something. There's always a little bit of a lull or a depression. I've heard it referred to as the arrival fallacy. You get there and it's like, well, now what? Hopefully the view from the top's awesome because it would suck to do all that work and you get up there and it's like, this view sucks. I shouldn't have done this. But more often than not, we get there, we look, we're like, yep, I did it, check the box. But now it's like, now what do I do? So that's peak, and it's not sustainable. I don't think day in, day out. Like if you keep going down that path, at some point you're going to burn out. Like it's just, we're all human. We're not cyborgs. Well, not yet. I'm sure that's coming in the future, which is some of the stuff I've seen. Yeah, here lately in the news.
Chat GPT. Yeah.
Absolutely. That's exactly what I was thinking. I was telling my wife about that. I was like, have you heard of this? Like, yeah, check this out. You see what they're saying about this? Yeah, exactly. So that's peak. What my coaching, what I offer, what I preach is optimal. Because I don't want you to burn out. I want you to continue to grow. Like just get 1% better every day.
Yeah.
Don't go max out. So I'm gonna throw this out. And I love CrossFit because I love what it's done for the fitness community. So I'm not bashing CrossFit at all here. But what do I see a lot when I go to different CrossFit boxes? Max effort all the time, like running and gunning. And to me, there's a place for that. But if you do that too much, what happens? Injury.
Yeah.
Burnout. So you just got to know what those limits are. Push yourself, but don't go you don't have to go max effort every time.
No,
Yep.
no, there's an analogy I really like about valleys and peaks. Peaks are great because you can see so much more. And I think it's really just a place where you can see where you might want to go to next. But there's not a lot of growth up there, right? Usually peaks are
Right.
just cold and barren. It's just snow or nothing. But the valley is where all the growth is, right? So you got to go down and do the work. And that's actually in some of those periods of rest, that's where a lot of things start to flourish within you. So you can go to the next peak when you're ready. But
Yeah, I love that
um,
analogy.
it's a good one. It's not mine, so feel free to use it as your own. Everything I say is researched.
Well, you know what's funny about that? Because I believe that too. It's like
Yeah.
all the books that come out, me myself included, it's like a lot of this is just regurgitated stuff that's probably been around 1,000 years.
Yes.
But what people dig is they like your voice or the way you present it, or you know what I mean. So I get it.
Your flair. Yeah, your
I totally get
flair.
it. Yeah, your flair. Exactly.
Totally. Yeah. And we're human. We need to be repeated at how many hundreds of times before we do things sometimes. So tell us a little bit about your coaching business and your actual School of Grit, because it's not just a book. You have an actual program that you put people through. So what do people experience when working with you? And maybe you can also share a little bit about your community that you call your coaching tribe.
Yeah. So I'm excied about this because this is the next iteration of what we're doing. So the book came out,
Exciting.
which is great, and continuing to push that. But to me, where can I have the most impact and transformation? And that's working one-on-one with people. Actually, one on many. I do mostly group coaching, and
Mhm.
it's done virtual through Zoom. And School of Grit set up like a school. So or let me back up. So our mission is to train, educate, and transform individuals into that hidden modern day warrior, because I think everybody's got a little warrior in them. And the purpose of that is to be the best version of yourself, to be able to show up for yourself, protect others, and just realize your God-given purpose and not being afraid to go after that. So that's what we do inside the tribe. And it's not just the Brad show. So yes, I have a couple calls per month that I do, but every week there's about 3 calls, and it's mostly I have an awesome group of experts and cadre and instructors, and we talk about the 5, I call them the 5 mountains that you referred
Mhm.
to earlier. So we talk about, of course, physical. So we talk about training. We'll do some programming, but it's much more than that. We'll go into mental toughness. We'll go deep into mental toughness uh, techniques. We don't avoid emotional at all. So that's usually the place that people don't like to talk about at parties, but we do, and that's where the most growth happens. So we go emotional, intuition, like you talked about, and then that warrior spirit, which is a 2-pronger for me. So warrior spirit, yes, realizing your purpose, identifying that, working towards that. But then also spiritual. We touch on the spiritual side too. So we do talk about God, our relationship with God. But it's whole person, whole body. And the reason I say it's set up like a school is you enlist, you enroll, and you sign up for the classes you want to. And if you don't care about the other ones, cool, no worries. All the calls are recorded, housed on a secure network, and it's a blast. I love doing it. It's a lot of fun. And then I teach workouts every Saturday morning as well from right now from my garage. But we've
Oh,
got
nice.
yeah, that's the other piece, is just getting ready to putting some sweat equity in with each other. It's a lot of fun. And I've got plan on doing my first live event actually in September, which
Yes.
is going to be a lot of fun as
And
well.
that's going to be an in-person one, right?
That will be the first, total in-person one. Yeah. And I think I got the location set up, but the idea behind that is I want a little bit of the book to come to life. It's
Mhm.
not one of those places you'd go to get beat down and stuff, but I want to teach tactics, tools. So I could teach, for instance, a seminar on mental toughness, which I break down to 4 components: breath control, positivity, visualization, goal setting. Cool. We have the classroom part. Now let's go tackle it. we're going to do something that probably scares a lot of you. We're going to rappel this 80-foot tower, but I'm going to do it with you, you know?
Yes.
So we're going to learn and we're going to do. So stuff like that. I think it's going to be a lot of fun. So I cannot wait to bring that to the community.
Yeah, that sounds really exciting. So where can people find you, Brad?
Yeah, if you go to schoolofgrit.org, you'll be able to find all my stuff there, and it's .org, not .com, because I don't own that domain and I'm not going to buy it, at least not right now. So
Some of them get expensive,
yeah, they can get very expensive. So somebody beat me to the punch, right? Yeah. So schoolofgrit.org, they'll find information on joining the tribe, information on the book. If you just want to email me, it's brad@schoolofgrit.org. I reply to all emails that I get, so I take those serious.
Perfect.
That's the easiest way to find me.
Awesome. We'll put all of that in the show notes. And are there any last thoughts or things you would like the audience to know about you or the work you do, or something that they should maybe take away from this today?
Yeah, if you're listening right now and you like what you hear, don't wait. Do something about it. So do something that sucks, is what I like to say. Do something that sucks every day. And it doesn't have to be hard. It could be waking up 10 minutes earlier than you normally do. It could be ending your warm shower with a cold shower. It could be reading 10 pages. I don't know. Whatever sucks to you, like, do it, because that's where the growth happens. And you'll find if you consistently do that day in, day out, you might actually start to like it a little bit. So there you go.
Absolutely. Well, thank you so much, Brad. It was so exciting having you on, and just everybody go check out the schoolofgrit.org.
Thanks, Chrissy. Appreciate you.